Alright, now this is kind of a different direction as far as my channel goes because I normally don't do videos relating to comedians, well, except for my all time favorite, George Carlin, but that wasn't even really a video toward him. But basically, doing some more research on MK Ultra mind programming and brainwashing. Long story short, it kind of makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense because now I know a lot of celebrities and why they say some of the stuff that they say. You look at a guy like Shia LaBeouf, you look at Britney Spears back in 2007, with her meltdown, shaving her head and everything like that. You look at Miley Cyrus, you look at, Kanye West, you look at a lot of celebrities, and, you don't really think something like this could happen because it just sounds so taboo and sci-fi. But when you really connect the dots and you really start paying attention to what's going on and why things happen in the entertainment industry, in sports, in music, everything, it kind of makes a lot of sense. Now, before I continue this video, I just want to say one thing. Yes, in life, people do change. Sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse. Sometimes people can develop having shitty taste, following the wrong crowd, doing the wrong thing. And then sometimes people can mature over time and get better. With that said, this is kind of weird to me. As somebody who's not the biggest Dave Chappelle fan, I'm going to admit, I'm not the biggest fan of Dave Chappelle. I think some of his comedy is very stereotypical. Not to say that he's not funny. He was, in his prime, he was funny. I watched some of his films. I saw Half Baked. I'm not the biggest fan of Robin Hood Men in Tights. I did enjoy Half Baked. I thought Half Baked was a really great movie. I watched a little bit of the first two seasons of the Chappelle Show, and some of the jokes were funny. Some of them were just hilarious. Some of them, I'm gonna admit they were pretty damn fucking funny. Some of them though were kind of stupid. The one in particular that I didn't like was the one where he was basically, I thought he was just being a little too racial, saying like, oh, black people can't listen to rock music and stuff like that, which I found to be complete and utter bullshit. But, I did find some of his stuff funny. And I do remember, when the Chappelle Show came on the scene back in like 2003, 2004, during the height of its popularity, it was a very, very, very popular show. As a matter of fact, I don't think people really remember how popular this show really was. Some do, but some really, basically, this show at one point in time was more popular than South Park. It was really, and this was during a time where South Park was really starting to decline in quality. As a matter of fact, I would even say at one point Drawn Together was more entertaining than South Park. And I wasn't even the biggest Drawn Together fan, but I thought that show was better than South Park at one point. Because South Park, it can have its hits and misses. And it was really around like 2003, 2004, 2005. It was really kind of, 2004, you still had some good episodes, the fucking kids with the nunchucks and the karate weapons. That was a really funny episode. You know, but I mean, a lot of South Park's quality really started to decline at that time, and Chappelle was definitely was just really getting some really high steam. It was really getting extremely popular. Everybody was watching it from all walks of life. Everybody. It didn't matter if you were black, white, Hispanic. Everybody was watching the Chappelle Show at that time. And, you know, it was a very popular show. It did extremely well in DVD sales. You know, and that's the early 2000s. Everything was doing well in DVD. ECW had good DVD sales. Family Guy got good DVD sales. That's why they brought it back, why Fox brought it back. But, you know, the Chappelle Show was extremely hot at the time. Very, very popular at the time. And, you know, when in 2005, when Dave Chappelle decided not to renew the Chappelle Show for a third season, a lot of people were questioning him, like, why didn't he come back to Comedy Central? And he ended up going to Africa and all that, you know. So, you know, but the thing that really surprises a lot of people is that he basically waited like a little over 10 years, like almost 12 years, to really step back into the spotlight. I mean, he was still doing stand-up comedy. He was still doing his stand-up comedy routine and all that. But, you know, he was basically not doing, like, he wasn't on TV. He wasn't in movies or anything. He was basically blacklisted from Hollywood. You know, because, again, if you don't play by the Illuminati's games, if you don't politic and kiss ass, just like in the world of professional wrestling, you know, just ask Hideo Kojima, just like how he got fucked over at Konami. If you don't play by the corporation's games, they try to fuck you over. But, you know, basically, he comes back on the scene earlier this year, pretty much. He signed a new Netflix deal for $60,000. I mean, I'm sorry, $60 million. Why the fuck did I say 60,000? But, you know, he signed a deal for a lot of money. And a lot of people are kind of questioning him because, you know, last year he came back, he went on SNL, and, you know, he did a lot of the skits, like the Tyrone Bigham skit and all that. But he kind of felt off. Like, he was doing kind of like a parody of The Walking Dead, where he was playing Negan, and he also brought back a lot of his older characters from the show. And a lot of people felt like he was kind of off. And then, you know, I recently saw the sketch, and I was kind of like, well, keep in mind, this is Saturday Night Live, SNL. I mean, this show hasn't been good in God knows how long. They always get celebrities on this show, and it's always a watered down, like, they always try to pretend like it's like the it show, the funny show, but no one really gives a shit about Saturday Night Live anymore. It's an overrated show. It's kind of like the type of show that gets a lot of praise, and it's popular, but no one really cares about it. So that's kind of what SNL is. But basically, he comes back. He comes on the show. He does a sketch, you know, and then he signs a deal with Netflix to do a new show, and that show is really, really corny. I mean, I've seen it, and it is not that entertaining at all. And you can definitely tell that Dave Chappelle has changed in so many ways, and it's just very noticeable. But then again, there are some people who say that it's not that he changed, but that he's dead. He's dead, and that, God damn it, this stupid computer. That he changed, that he's not changed, I'm sorry. Stupid fucking computer piece of shit. Fucked me up. But that he's a clone now. They killed the real Dave Chappelle. And that's like the whole big conspiracy theory all over the internet. And even in some of these tabloid news media outlets and stuff like that, that Dave Chappelle is dead and that he's been cloned and that the clone is for the Illuminati and all this, and basically, I don't know if it's true or not. I'm a conspiracy theorist to a certain degree. I do believe 9/11 was set up by the government. I do believe a lot of things. I do believe that they did find a cure for cancer. They're just not releasing it because they want to make money. The medical industry wants to make as much money as they possibly can, just treating it. But saying that they made a clone of Dave Chappelle kind of had me a little bit on the far-fetched side. A little bit on the, yeah, I don't know about that. But then I recently find this video, and it's apparently Dave Chappelle's cousin. Now, I don't know if this video is real or not. The person disguises their voice. But I just watched some of the video, and some of it is kind of interesting and weird. It's kind of creepy a little bit. Like, when you listen to this video, at first, because I didn't think it was a clone. I thought Dave Chappelle was just another victim of MK Ultra mind control, just like a lot of people. Even in the wrestling business, there are people who are MK, like Cena. Like, you could tell John Cena's MK Ultra mind control. You could just tell. But, after watching this video, listening to what this person said, it's kind of weird. It's a little creepy and strange. Because the person, the cousin, so-called cousin of Dave Chappelle, is saying that Dave never believed in being skinny. I mean, he never believed in being big and on, like, you look on the right-hand side, and Chappelle now looks like he's on fucking steroids. He looks like he's been either working out or taking steroids. And Dave Chappelle has always been a skinny guy. I mean, I remember back in high school, the motherfucker was always skinny as hell. But, now he's all beefy and shit. His cousin explains, like, how Dave Chappelle always wanted to be skinny. I even saw another video where Dave Chappelle looked really nervous, really strange when he was on Oprah. And it kind of made me think to myself, like, this is kind of weird. I don't know if he was cloned or not, but the person, Dave Chappelle's cousin in this video, basically says that, nowadays you can easily clone somebody within like a few hours. And that's kind of scary. And I don't know if that's true or not. Again, I'm not a scientist. I don't study biology, medicine, or anything like that. But, it just kind of sounded a little far-fetched to me. So I guess, I don't know, maybe you guys know more about the Illuminati and the New World Order than I do. Maybe you know about this MK Ultra shit more than I do. But that sounded a little weird. A little fucking weird. And, I'm watching this interview. Well, yeah, it's kind of an interview. And, I'm just listening. And I'm hearing some of the stuff, like how he hasn't spoken, or she, whatever the fuck, hasn't spoken to Dave Chappelle since. He hasn't spoken to to his cousin since, and that's kind of weird. Like, I don't know. Again, I'm not related to the guy. I don't know anything about the guy or anything like that. But when you listen to this interview, and I recommend some of you guys watch it, especially if you're a fan of, stand-up comedy, Dave Chappelle, and stuff like that. This is really weird and bizarre. And quite frankly, he could be a fucking clone. Just listening to this crap, he could be a fucking clone. It's not, it's as far-fetched as I thought it was originally. You have to realize that in this life, a lot of shit is far-fetched. A lot of stuff that we see on TV is actually a lot more realistic compared to a lot of the stuff that happens in real life. Real life can be a fucking cartoon at times. There's a lot of shit that I've seen that you guys wouldn't believe that happens in real life, and you would think, no, that's not believable. That didn't happen. I don't believe you. And it happens. It actually happens. Because this life, in a lot of ways, doesn't make any fucking sense. There's certain things that you would think would never happen. They happen. What are you guys' thoughts? Especially if you're a fan of this guy, Dave Chappelle. What do you think? Do you think he's a clone? Do you think this new Dave Chappelle on Netflix is a clone? Do you think the cousin is right? Do you think that it's all just conspiracy theories and all that? What are you guys' thoughts? Leave a comment in the comment section. Make a video. Do what you have to do. Till next time, later.